Hello, everyone. I'm Roy Steinberg, the artistic director here at Cape May Stage. I'm so grateful you could join us for this reading of Best of Enemies by Mark St. Germain. Mark St. Germain's been a favorite of ours here at Cape May Stage. We produced his play, Freud's Last Session, one of the most successful plays we've done. People still are talking about it. Mark often writes about real people. He's written plays. In fact, there's a play right now about Eleanor Roosevelt at the Barrington Stage. So congratulations to them for doing that play. He's also written a play about Dr. Ruth. He's written plays about, everyone from Mr. Ford and on. So this play is about real people as well, not quite as famous. It was based on a book called The Best of Enemies by Osha Gray Davidson. And I'm going to now introduce you to Mitchell Malnati, who will be reading the stage directions and tell you about our cast.
Best of Enemies by Mark St. Germain. Cast of characters: C.P. Ellis, exalted Cyclops of the Durham Ku Klux Klan; Mary Ellis, wife of C.P., Ann Atwater, civil rights activist and civic leader; and Bill Riddick, college-educated community organizer.
Stand up and be counted, show the world that you're a man. Stand up and be counted, go with the Ku Klux Klan. We are a sacred brotherhood who love our country true. We always can be counted on when there's a job to do. We serve our homeland day and night to keep it always free, and proudly wear our robes of white protecting liberty.
Come on, boys. I can't hear you.
Show the world that you're a man. Stand up and be counted, go with the Ku Klux Klan.
One bullet. One bullet. That's all it took, right here. Through his jaw, down his spine, and he dropped like a monkey from a tree. Truth is, boys, I was a little sad they killed him. Oh, hold on now. I'm sad he never made it here to Durham next week, but we could have done the job ourselves. Here's to the gunman who shot Martin Lucifer Coon.
Black and white together, we shall not be moved, just like a tree that's standing by the water. We shall not be moved.
Lights up on Ann Atwater facing an unseen receptionist at the Durham Town Hall. She is a veteran warrior for civil rights.
Put down that phone. Yes, you heard me. And don't touch it again when I'm talking to you. How much of Durham do you want to see burned down tonight? We are not a mob. We are citizens who demand to see our mayor and not some pissing councilman. You tell the mayor Ann Atwater wants him down here now to tell us how he's going to lower the flag, close the schools, and explain how this city plans to honor Dr. King. Now pick that phone up and dial, and if you call the police, you'll be talking on your way out that window.
Lights down on Ann. We hear the sound of a car driving into a gas station and the ring of the gas station's line as it drives over it. It is now May 1971. Lights up on the gas station of C.P. Ellis. There is a radio on the cash register desk next to a stand of motor oil and a Confederate flag with pictures beside it, including an 1867 picture of KKK member and Civil War hero Nathan Bedford Forrester in Confederate uniform. Bill Riddick, a black man in his 30s wearing a jacket and tie, enters the gas station and listens. He holds a clutch of flyers.
On the third anniversary of the death of Martin Luther King, Joetta Collier, an 18-year-old black girl, was shot dead in broad daylight coming out of a sweet shop with her classmates in her hometown of Drew, Mississippi. Drew High School has been recently desegregated.
Bill turns the radio up as CP Ellis enters behind him.
A white farm worker was put under arrest only 4 hours later. It's suspected that a county voter drive aided by civil rights volunteers from the North escalated racial tensions. Joetta Collier was known as a good student and Drew High School's champion sprinter.
Not fast enough. Turn off my radio and wipe the dial. I don't want your germs on it.
Good morning. I'm here to invite you to a meeting next Tuesday night. It's our first to discuss the problems of school desegregation.
I can solve your problem right here. You people stay in your schools.
That is definitely a solution to consider.
Who are you?
Bill Riddick. I'm a community organizer.
Community organizer. Does that make you a commie or a union boy?
I'm from the Department of Education. We have a grant to create programs addressing racial issues in our schools. The process is called a charrette.
A charrette.
It's French for meetings between people of different views to come to understanding, and we keep meeting till they do.
Well, don't just beat all. You talk French, drive a nice new car, and dress like you're wearing a white man costume on Halloween. I can't wait to go down to your charrette. We'll all hold hands and sing Dixie. Now wipe off my dial and get out before I call the police. Looks to me like you're about to steal it.
We both know how much violence there's been in Durham. Don't you want to stop it?
I will. The dial.
A lot of oil on this cloth. Your hands must be filthy, Mr. Ellis.
You know who I am.
C.P. Ellis, exalted Cyclops of the Ku Klux Klan, Lodge 9, Durham, Clavern. Rumor is, you also sell the finest white lightning in the county and store it in that grease pit.
You get your black ass off my property, nigger, while you can still walk.
We meet Tuesday, 8 p.m. at the YMCA. Hope to see you there.
CP goes to the phone and dials.
Denny, it's CP. You call us an emergency meeting. Tuesday, that's when, 7 o'clock. Tell anybody who can't come, they better give me a damn good reason.
Lights down on CP as the lights reveal Ann entering her living room with Bill.
Can we sit down?
You won't be here that long. You know what the good book says is the greatest sin?
Not reading the good book?
Pride. Pride opens the door for every other sin there is.
You think I'm prideful?
Either that or your mama dropped you on your head as a baby.
She always told me that was an accident. School segregation's been against the law for years. It's about time Durham faces that.
Face it, we've been living it. Police shooting black students just for sitting right out in front of their dormitory. Us burning down the housing authority and so many other stores. The mayor called in the National Guard. We've had more folks die than you've had birthdays. And you think you can come down here from the north and make Durham give a damn about any laws but our own?
Actually, I'm from North Carolina too.
Where?
Hartford County.
That's still north of here.
Mrs. Atwater, everyone tells me you're an important leader in this community. We need you at this meeting.
But unlike you, I'm not being paid to be there. All I get out of it is high blood pressure and a sore throat from shouting things I've shouted all my life. I'll save my strength for cleaning up after you're gone.
I just met C.P. Ellis.
Sweet Jesus. Then get to church and dunk yourself in holy water. I see that man every time I walk a picket line. If looks could kill, there wouldn't be a black face left in town.
I invited him to the charrette.
You are a damn fool. Since C.P. Ellis took charge, the Klan's grown so big, they built a new hall twice as large as the old one. He also started a youth Klan to start poisoning the children early. And that man doesn't just hate, he wants to kill. Last year, one of his baby Klanists got his bus money stolen off him by a couple of little black boys downtown by the Sears. There's nothing in the world that made C.P. Ellis happier. He filled his car with guns and rednecks and went hunting. He found some black men standing on the corner just down the street here. When Ellis shouted, "Where were you niggas today?" My neighbor, Lincoln King, yelled right back, "Who you calling niggas?" Ellis opened fire. Lincoln would be dead today if that cracker could shoot straight. That's the man you invited. And he's gonna pack the place with more like him.
That's why I need people there who aren't afraid of them.
Oh, I'm not afraid of anybody. But when I see a snake, I don't talk to it. I cut its head off.
I hear there are people afraid of you. They call you Roughhouse Annie, don't they? Roughhouse Annie who can kill anybody who wasn't already dead.
That's me.
Mrs. Atwater, if I didn't know, I'd say that smile was full of pride.
Lights down on Bill and Ann. In darkness, we hear Klansmen.
Let us bow our heads in prayer.
The lights slowly rise, revealing in shadows the Klansman robed in red, leading the Klaverns' prayer. Behind him, the banner, United Klans of America, Unit 9.
Our Father, God of life and liberty, we humbly thank thee for opening the eyes of all good people to the evil which has been forced upon us. Help us to overcome our enemies and give our hearts the courage to destroy these agents of Satan. We ask this in the name of thy Son, Christ Jesus. Amen.
The lights fully up as CP removes his hood.
Oh, the government's trying to make Hillside High into darky heaven. I got a call today from Councilman Nash. You know Ferris. And he wants us all to go to their meeting. I said, Ferris, I do not intend to associate with a bunch of niggers or nigger lovers. But Ferris said he needs us. If we don't go, who's going to be there but niggers and whites who hate their own race? We are the last patriots. We've got to protect our wives and children. So I'm thinking this is no meeting. This is a goddamn war. We fight now for what we know is right, or before we say spade, they'll be in our classrooms sniffing after our daughters. Now, I want to hear from you. All right, that's more like it.
Lights down, lights up on the YMCA. There are several metal chairs set up. Ann sits in one of them, her large pocketbook in her lap. Bill addresses the group. The meeting's already in progress.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And we've got Councilmember Nash, Howard Clement from the Black Solidarity Committee, and Joe Beckton from the city's Human Relations Commission to thank for helping to organize the next few weeks. We're here to communicate. That means we're here to say everything we feel. But we're here to listen too. So let's get to work. Now, tonight, I want to start by asking you one question. Just one. What are the problems in Durham schools? Any at all? There's none?
CP enters, but stands by the door, hesitating about going in. Ann spots him and they lock eyes.
All right, then tell me this. Are there any problems here in Durham, period? Really? Well, I guess I better move here to Durham.
You know there's problems, and everybody in this room knows it too. What's wrong with you people? The only thing that's happened here in the 17 years since Brown versus the Board of Education is a committee to study the problem. And somebody set fire to East End Elementary, the colored school. So what did our city council do? There was plenty of room in their white schools, but they decided to run East End on split shifts so they could keep their kids safe from ours. The problem's white racism, and it always will be.
The problem's that we've been too good to niggers. The problem's letting the federal government tell us what to do.
The problem is stupid crackers like C.P. Ellis.
Me? Look around this room if you want to see stupid. Look at the hair on these people. It's like they got big black bushes growing off their heads. And they're grown men wearing beads and ladies' circus blouses.
Everybody knows they're called dashikis, and they're part of our heritage.
Well, then go back to Africa. That's your heritage. They want to look different because even they know they are different. We let them have their marches and their protests, and they expect us to lay down and roll over like we did with the Jews and the Catholics and the commie unions. When are we going to have the guts to say, what about the white man? You got the courts looking out for you. They can get up in their schools and cuss the white man. But do you think our schools will let me into an assembly to tell kids about the KKK so they can hear the truth for once? Hell no. The truth is that whites and niggers will never get along because they shouldn't. I say no more wasting time like we're doing now.
Now that's more like it.
What the hell does that mean?
He hates us. He doesn't hide it, and he's got the courage to say it to our faces. I think we're off to a good start. And now we're going to split into smaller groups now, but first let's take a break so Mrs. Atwater and Mr. Ellis can build up another head of steam. Mr. Ellis, I'm glad you're here.
You think you're smarter than everybody in this room, don't you?
Well, that's hard to tell yet. We just got started.
Here's some honesty. I don't like you, Riddick. You think you're Jesus Christ coming to town on Palm Sunday. And I think you're the ass he rode in on.
Miss Atwater, this is what I love about a charrette. A person can speak whatever's on their mind.
I always say, you scratch a white man and you find a bigot. Why do I think that if I scratched your skin, I'd find a white man?
Ann leaves. Lights out on Bill, and lights rise on the dark parking lot as Ann walks across it.
Atwater, just want you to know, this goes where I go.
Let me show you something.
Ann reaches into her purse. CP, alarmed, raises his weapon, but Ann pulls out a Bible.
This is my grandmother's Bible. You take that gun out one more time and I'll knock the hell out of you with it.
Maybe you should read that Bible instead. Slavery is a biblical right, you know that? You can buy slaves and sell them, men, women, and kids. You can use them however you want, and if they don't remember their place, you can beat them dead. Slaves, obey your masters with respect and fear. It's all in there.
Maybe you should keep reading. Being a slave had nothing to do with skin color. It was all about money. Slaves were slaves because they had none, and the folks who bought them did.
Jesus never said a word against it.
Jesus said, the Son of Man did not come to be a slave master, but a slave who will give his life to rescue many people. What I want to know, Ellis, is why you give a damn what Jesus thought. When if he walked through your Klan door today, you'd string him up because he's a Jew.
Lights down on the parking lot and lights up on Bill in his motel room.
The director, please. Yeah, it's Bill Riddick. Don't you worry, he'll want to take this call. Jack, Bill. Yeah, we're off to a good start here. Well, then you heard wrong. Look, maybe they think of it as name calling. I call it getting acquainted. Jack, you tell the boys in Washington they're in good hands.
I don't know what this Riddick's up to. He didn't bat an eye at a word I said. Then he wanted me to shake his hand. He's making a damn fool of himself.
This is my third charrette. Did you send me here because I don't get the job done? Look, I'm not calling for backup. I'm calling because I have an idea. Look, I'm going to tell you, but you better sit down first.
Now, we don't need to throw a wrench into the damn meetings, Ferris. They're going to screw things up fine all by themselves. There's no sense going back there.
Okay, maybe it sounds crazy, but you know what? This is going to be the biggest success we have ever had, or a world-class catastrophe. And either one is going to put segregation on every television in this country.
Ellis is crazy dangerous, and I wouldn't trust Riddick in a shithouse with a muzzle.
Look, you know me, Jack. I can sell snowflakes in a blizzard.
Hell, I know you trust me, Ferris. Yeah, all right, you want me to keep an eye on things? Then I'll do it. You tell the boys at City Hall not to worry. We'll come down so hard on those spear chuckers they'll want to hang their own selves.
Lights up fully on Ann's apartment.
Hey, hey, don't you dare raise your voice to me, Anita, when you never said one single word at the charrette. You can go back tomorrow night, but I'm done. What do you want now?
Well, I want to know the best place in town to have lunch tomorrow.
Ruth's Cafe, East 4th, a block down from the courthouse.
What time would be good for you?
The day you leave town.
That's what CP Ellis thought you'd say.
Ellis?
I have a proposal I want to make to both of you.
Are you telling me CP Ellis said he'd sit down and eat with us?
You don't want to miss that? He could choke to death right in front of you.
Lights down on Ann, lights up on CP's kitchen.
CP,
Mr. Ellis, this is Bill Riddick. I'd like to buy you lunch tomorrow.
I don't eat watermelon. Mary, are we eating tonight or what?
You want to heat it up and set the table or go change Larry? Take your pick.
It could be important.
So are we. Timmy, leave your brother alone. That is dangerous. Come on, CP. Let's remind the kids what eating like a family looks like.
Might be the mayor.
Might be the president. Either one will call back.
I'll make it fast.
Take your time. Or better yet, why don't you just invite everybody over? Maybe one of them will change Larry.
Yeah,
It's Bill again. Mr. Ellis, we must have been disconnected.
we were, by me.
Everybody I talk to tells me you've got friends in high places in this town. Look, I've got an idea I think you all would be interested in.
What is it?
I'll tell you tomorrow about it in Ruth's Cafe. Tomorrow at 1.
You're a funny one, Billy. I'll give you that. But I don't eat with porch monkeys.
Well, I don't think the powers that be would want you to miss what I have to say. I mean, don't let them down. 1 o'clock. Good night now.
Don't anybody pick up that damn phone.
Lights down on CP. We hear the sound of restaurant noise, conversation, silverware clanking, and a hit from 1971 is on the radio. Lights up on Ruth's Cafe. Ann and Bill are seated with plates full before them and a third plate for CP. CP enters and spots Ann, but talks only to Bill.
Mr. Ellis.
You never said she'd be here.
Is that right?
You're a little late, Mr. Ellis, so we ordered for you. Sit down. Your pork chops are getting cold and they're delicious.
This is a little like a zoo. Everybody's staring like we're animals.
Well, sooner you sit down, the sooner you'll get out of here.
The whole town's gonna know I'm talking to you.
That cracker doesn't realize I'm the one who's gonna look like Aunt Jemima.
Well, tell him that.
I'm the one they'll tar and feather.
Tell her.
Tell that fool I'll get the tar.
So what have you got to say, Riddick? Or I'm walking.
All right. I want the two of you to co-chair the charrette.
What?
You were dropped on your head.
You think I'd work with that pile of pig shit?
Shut your mouth, you son of a bitch, or I'll slap it off your face.
You threaten me again, and you'll regret the day you were born.
Is a brain, Ellis, not a gun.
Oh, sit down. Everybody's looking at you.
Is this a joke, Riddick? There's no way I'd do that, and you know it.
You think I'm some fool for you or the whiteys you work for?
No. I think you're both smart enough to realize change is coming. And both of you want it to be in your favor.
You a hell of a talker, but you're saying nothing.
These are our problems. We want to change things, go to New York City or California. I've lived here all my life. We know what's right and wrong and the way things should stay.
But they won't stay the same. They're just going to keep getting worse. I think both of you can at least look past your own egos and understand what this charrette's really about. Not you, not white or black, but the best education for your children. You want that, don't you?
Of course I do.
And you want the same?
I want equal education.
So get it. Or tell me somebody else in this town you trust to get it for you. Give me their names and I'll call them right now. Then you can just go home and see what they do for your kids. Or they don't. Look, you can change this whole town. Co-chair the charrette together and make sure that what changes is best for you. Maybe not by miles. Maybe by just a foot or an inch.
You are dumber than a bag of hammers. I am done here.
At lunch is on me.
I don't take nothing from nobody. Especially one of you.
You paying for mine.
Lights down on the cafe. In darkness, a cigarette is lit. Lights up on CP and Mary's kitchen. Mary sits at the table with a cup of coffee, smoking. We hear a door open and close. A CP enters.
You still up?
I'm still up.
You're not going to believe what just happened. I'm driving home and I stopped at the light on Dean and South. This long-haired kid, white too, pulls up alongside, looks over with a big smile and does this to me. I jumped out of the car and before he could even get those fingers down, I punched him in the face, hard as I could. He just sat there bleeding while I drove away. Didn't even try coming after me. I'm telling you, this town is going crazy fast.
You want to know why I'm still up?
Guess I'm going to find out.
Tim is all in a knot, the same as you are. That Thompson boy down the street told him you were at the cafe today with two colors. He said, your daddy's a nigger lover.
That's crazy talk. I went there for Timmy and Vicky to keep these pickaninnies from taking over our school like they're taking over this country. There's 19 million of them out there. You know that? 19 million.
And multiplying like black bunnies. I've heard it, CP. I've heard it all. You're talking to yourself.
Nothing new there. I'm going to bed.
And tomorrow you'll get up, go to work, and then go to another meeting where your boys can take turns cranking each other up with hate talk.
It's not about hate, and you know it. The Klan's about love for our country and families.
So when are we going to see some of that Klan love? I have had it up to here, CP. I'm getting Timmy and Vicky through school, and I'm getting Larry through every minute of every day. Washing him, dressing him, wiping him, a 13-year-old boy.
I know, it's hard.
You're not here long enough to know. What are you running from, CP? We made Larry. We made him. And he needs a father who's not ashamed.
The hell I am.
Prove it. Take him out for a ride after work. Just you and him. Go to the park. He loves the slide. Help him up the ladder and then hold on to his hand when he slides down. Oh, He laughs all the way, no matter how many times he does it.
Of course I'll take him. Just not tomorrow.
What is it this time?
The damn charrette. This Riddick, the new one they brought in, he's working some angle to turn Durham into Coontown, and who do you think people are counting on to stop him?
How could this city ever survive without you?
Are you done now?
Almost. I found 2 of these. How many did I miss? I am tired, CP. I am so tired.
Lights down on the kitchen and lights up on Ann in her church, speaking with her unseen pastor.
Don't you tell me to turn the other cheek. Nobody's gonna slap me again. Why should I work to put their little white racists in my schools? I will not waste another minute of my life. And you can call it hate or bribe because I've got both in my heart. You want me to pray? I pray that CP Ellis burns in the hell he's made for me and every Black man and woman in this city. Until then, Pastor, I will keep my knife right here so I can use it.
Lights down on the church. We hear the sound of a phone ringing. Ann enters her apartment and picks it up.
Hello.
This is CP Ellis.
Uh-huh.
There's no way you and Riddick are gonna get away with this.
Get away with what?
I'm going to co-chair this charrette.
Why would you do that?
To keep you all from taking over and turning this thing into a Sambo circus.
Are you crazy or stupid? You think I'd ever work with a bigot like you?
Atwater? That's the best news I've heard all day.
Lights up on Bill, CP, and Ann seated at a long table. CP sits at one head, Ann at the other head, and Bill between them. CP is wearing his garage work shirt. His name is sewn over the pocket.
We need to come up with an agenda to bring to the steering committee. It will save us a lot of time. Either of you want to take notes?
I'm no secretary.
I can remember everything I need to.
Same here.
Oh, really? Then why are you wearing a shirt with your own name sewn on it?
You want to keep flapping those bumper lips, then how about you learn how to say whiff instead of whiff?
I'll take notes. Do you have any suggestions on what to call our charrette?
That's what you called it.
A charrette's what it is, but that would be like calling it a town meeting. It's good to find a name that tells people what it's about.
Saving our schools. SOS.
Can't get more direct than that. CP?
We got a program in South Carolina called Save Our Schools.
Who does?
The Klan.
Good to know. How about support our schools?
I don't want to support them. I want to save them.
You want a Klan name? That's just fine with me.
Let's put it up to the committee. Now we have to decide a place to meet.
Can't we stay at the Y?
With all the nights we need, they can't accommodate us.
How about the Civic Center?
I don't think it's too big, and there's no place to break down into small groups.
How about a church?
What church?
My church, First Baptist.
That's in the colored part of town. No whites are going to set foot into some Negro church.
Does God change color in your cracker church?
All right, what about Harris Elementary, huh? It has an auditorium, air conditioning, and plenty of classrooms for small groups. Plus, it's right on the border of Black and white neighborhoods.
That's a black school. I told you, you've got to meet someplace people want to go.
You mean where you want?
I mean someplace neutral.
Well, where's a great section of town?
You hold it at Harris, you're telling every white man in town not to come.
No, we're telling rednecks not to come.
Then change SOS to Save Our Spooks.
I will not sit here anymore with this peck of wood.
No nigga's gonna talk to me that way.
And no whitey's worth talking to.
Buckwheat, Massa, Jigaboo, Fishbelly, Knuckledagger, Ditch Pig, Rube, Ringtail, Wonderbread, Tall Baby, Whitey, Woolhead, Bubba, Jungle Bunny, Buckra, Blackie, Mayonnaise, Mandingo, Shit Kicker, Silver Picket, Face Kicker, Niglet, Caveman, Cotton Picker, Oath. You got any more?
There's always more.
Can we move on?
No point to it. You meet at Harris and nobody will go. Plain and simple.
All right, it's your job to get them there. Knock on doors, pass out flyers, use your pool in the community, and pack that place.
If we did pick Harris, who's going to protect the whites?
Protect them from what?
From the blacks.
I'll protect you, CP.
I gotta go to work.
I've got kids to feed. You still think this can work, do you?
Right now, I'll consider it a success if you two of you don't kill each other.
Good luck with that.
Sound of a school bell. Class is changing. Lights down on Ann and up on the office of Harris Elementary School. CP and Ann stand behind a counter, not speaking. Bill enters hurriedly carrying a stack of papers.
Okay, the copy machine's slow, but you can start with these. If you can collate and staple, we can pass them out tonight. I've got to find the custodian to unlock the auditorium, then I'll be back with some more.
He puts them on a table in front of Ann and CP with a stapler and leaves. Both stare at the pile of papers divided into three pages to be collated and stapled together. Neither touch them. Ann finally reaches for them, taking one page from each pile. 1, 2, 3, then slaps them down. She does this several times and glares at CP. When's he gonna do anything? CP finally grabs the stapler and staples 1 set, 2, then 3, and starts his completed pile. Ann continues sorting. CP continues stapling, grabbing sets from Ann the minute she makes them. The pace increases. Neither still saying a word. Papers slapped down like cards in a card game. The staple banged harder and harder until the entire pile is almost completed. It's funny until CP and Ann's hands brush together while grabbing papers. CP pulls back as if he was stung and looks at him as he hurriedly wipes his hand on the side of his pants. CP meets her look of contempt as Bill enters, holding more papers.
Everything all right?
Just fine.
You bet.
Lights down on the office.
You needed that job, and you were the best qualified. But they had to give it to a minority because of a racial quota. Is that really fair? Harvey Gantt says it is. Gantt supports Ted Kennedy's racial quota law that makes the color of your skin more important than your qualifications. You'll vote on this issue next Tuesday. For racial quotas, Harvey Gantt. Against racial quotas, Jesse Helms.
Lights up on the Harris Elementary Auditorium. Ann and CP are at separate podiums, Bill sitting upstage between them. Ann addresses the crowd.
All in favor of Save Our Schools, put your hands up. All opposed? All right then. We've got ourselves a name, SOS.
That's great. Thank you, Ann. Now we'll hear from our co-chair, CP Ellis.
All right. We've got a bunch of committees we need you to volunteer for. All of you. In room 201, we got the student survey committee. We want to give one to every kid in our school, white and black, and get their take on how things are now and how they want them to stay the same. Room 203, parent survey, same thing. We want to find out what everybody here wants, not Washington, D.C.
You want to just fill out all the surveys yourself?
What's that mean?
Why don't we wait to find out what everybody wants before you tell them?
That's what we're doing. Room 210, that's for a committee to look at the books used in our grammar and high schools, white and black, and compare them. Go down to room 210 and we'll get your names.
Everybody on the high school book committee should have graduated high school.
We didn't vote on that.
We didn't take a vote. Everybody agreed.
Not that I heard.
Then you didn't listen.
You listen now. I didn't go to high school. I had to work after 8th grade. So you're saying my opinion doesn't matter?
Mine either. I dropped out in 10th. How's somebody going to compare high school history books when they never finished high school? We might as well get the opinion of a blind man.
The CP?
My boy Larry is blind.
I didn't know.
He's retarded too. You make sure and tell everybody that.
I told you I had no idea.
Oh no?
All right, moving on. We'll be working some long days and nights, so it would be good to have some refreshments when we take a break. And maybe we can even have some entertainment at supper. Oh, we should have a committee for that. CP, is there another room available?
Room 103. People can meet there.
Thank you. So if we could have some volunteers for entertainment.
My church choir said they would come down and sing.
That'd be nice.
What are we having for white folks?
You got a Klan choir?
I want to put up a Klan exhibit right here for all of you and for all the kids too. The history of the KKK.
Mr. Ellis.
Now look around here at the bulletin boards on these hallways. You got your Martin Luther King posters and that peanut guy and a bunch of Negroes I never even heard of. I don't see a single white man except Abraham Lincoln. If that's not prejudice, tell me what is.
What do you want to put up? Pictures of men in sheets burning crosses?
Now that's an ignorant thing to say, which is why you need an education. Lighting crosses is a symbol of our faith in Jesus Christ, the light of the world. And our robes and hoods go way back, all the way to the Middle Ages in Europe, where men had secret societies because they wanted their good deeds to be anonymous.
Mr. Ellis, I think it would be counterproductive to what we're trying to do here.
This is still a democracy, isn't it? I say let everybody here decide.
I say if I can have my choir, he can have his Klan exhibit. Let's put it to a vote. All in favor? That's it then.
Well, all right then.
Okay. See you all tomorrow night. And what was that about?
I gave an inch. Isn't that what you wanted?
They didn't bring the Klan in. Look, are you serious? It will be a disaster.
Maybe.
No, maybe you want it to be. And when it is, it's on your head, not mine. I'll tell the committee, the newspapers, and anybody who will listen, it's your fault.
What's this really about, Riddick? Helping us or making you a hero?
Oh, you don't know the first thing about me. You think I'm some puppet you can blame when this whole thing explodes?
I'm going home.
No, you're hearing me out. You think you deserve a Black Martyr medal. Nobody could have suffered more than you.
And you did?
My daddy was a tenant farmer here in North Carolina. My mama cooked for the white family he picked peanuts for, and every night we sat on the back steps waiting for her to finish washing these dishes from dinner so we could go have home and eat our own.
Nobody forced you to pick peanuts and wash dishes, did they?
Nope. I was too smart for that. I got work at the country club and told them I would not be a waiter. They gave me a job at the pool instead, right alongside the white boys. Except I was the only one who had to wear long pants because their members couldn't stand seeing black legs. So I said, I'm out of here. I enrolled at the University of Chapel Hill to get myself an education. I learned how white folks can eat their lunch real fast when a black man sits at their table. You know, it's really magical how apartments instantly fill up when a black man wants to rent one. You think I'm some Uncle Tom doing this for a paycheck? But I'm fighting for our people the same as you, except what makes us different is that I'm not a hypocrite. I don't carry the good book around saying, this is who I am, because when I heard about the riots down here in Durham, you weren't preaching about the good book. You were throwing a Molotov cocktail.
Blackout. Sound of school bell. Lights up on the Harris Elementary Library. C.P. Ellis is putting the finishing touches on his KKK display. A table showcases Klan literature. A blow-up photograph on tripods show robed and hooded Klan members holding burning crosses in their hands. A reproduction of an old poster showing KKK members hanging white carpetbaggers. CP suddenly stops, hearing teen voices from the hallway. He looks out as the murmuring grows louder. Behind him, Ann enters, stopping at the sight of the burning crosses.
Those black kids out there, they're gonna come in here and trash things up. I heard them talking.
Where you going?
To get my gun.
Hold on. Hey, hey, that's right, all of you. You want to come in here and tear things up? Well, that's not going to happen. You're going back to class right now and tell them about this exhibit. Then you're going to bring them all back here and see these pictures and study every word you read. You want to know where a person's coming from, you got to know how he thinks. Fight with your brain. Now go and get your friends and get right back here. I'm coming after you. You heard me? Get!
You've got one big mouth.
My daddy told me only white people talk quiet. We got to talk louder to be heard. My choir's singing tomorrow after supper. You coming or not?
They know any Klan songs?
I'd sure like to see you teach him.
Blackout on the library and lights up on CP and Mary's kitchen. Mary's listening to a song on the radio as she wipes the table when CP rushes in.
Mary, did you see my car? Somebody filled my trunk with cement. Cement! Right to the top. My gun's in there. They buried my goddamn gun. Well, I'm going to go out right now and get a bigger one and find out who the hell did it.
I did.
What?
I did it.
Why?
You told me you'd never use that gun again. But when I opened the trunk, there it was, loaded too. In the trunk of the car, our children ride in.
We've got the car keys. They couldn't touch it.
So it's fine then. Just go out and shoot somebody else again. Go to prison and leave your family to fend for themselves. What a good father you are.
Just how much do you hate me?
I don't know who's in that head of yours anymore to hate. You've changed, CP.
So have you.
Well, I hope I have. We got married when I was 16. You loved some girl who thought every word you said was gospel, and I loved somebody who made me feel more special than I am. But I'm not that girl anymore. I'm a woman who can fill a car trunk with cement.
You are talking crazy.
I could be. I've been crazy enough to stay this long.
You want to go? Then do it. Get out right now. Go on and leave.
I already did. So did you. So you tell me, CP, do we have anything worth coming back to?
I don't know.
Lights down on Mary, staring at CP. not moving as we hear the sound of the new generation singers and choir. Lights up on a school auditorium. Lights up to reveal Ann on a chair seated next to Bill. Ann loves the music and shows it. She sings along, sometimes shouting. Bill is more restrained. CP enters with his arms crossed. Ann is clapping along. Bill joins her. CP puts his hands in his pockets. CP takes his hands out of his pockets, clasps them before him. Flexibly, CP starts to clap tentatively, claps off beat. Ann turns and sees CP clapping. Seeing her, CP leaves.
Getting to him. Oh yeah, getting to him.
Lights down on the auditorium as the choir concludes. Lights up on the front porch of the Ellis home. Bill holds a box. Mary comes to the door.
Hello, is this the Ellis residence?
Well, it is.
I'd like to drop off these surveys for Mr. Ellis to distribute. I went to the gas station, but it was closed.
But he's at the bank. Probably won't be long. You can wait for him out here if you'd like.
I'll just leave them if that's all right.
That's fine. Put them anywhere on the porch.
Are you Mrs. Ellis?
I am. And you must be Mr. Riddick.
How'd you know?
Because no Negro in this town would just show up at this door carrying just a box of paper.
Will I see you at the charrette?
No, I'm afraid not.
Do you mind if I ask why?
Well, in the long run, I don't see showing up matters much.
Really? Well, have you lived here too long, or?
All my life.
And you don't think that the race relations are a problem?
To me, race relations are just the tip of the iceberg, Mr. Riddick.
Why would you say that?
Black, white, those are just skin colors. I think there's a lot more to it than that. I think there's something inside us, every one of us, that freezes up when we see anybody different. It's like a gate that slams down so hard we feel safe behind it. Not just when it's about black or white, but when it's about religion or pretty much anything you can think of. I'll bet you're a Democrat.
You bet right.
I'm a Republican. There's another thing, another line right there. How many people do you know would cross it? And even if we got rid of every line, we'd probably go starting wars between who's right-handed or left-handed.
But isn't that a sad way to look at the world, Mrs. Ellis?
No. It doesn't stop you from doing everything you can for your family or anybody you think you really can help. But you don't waste your time fooling yourself you can push a boulder up a mountain. You just keep trying to keep it from rolling back down on you.
Mama.
Excuse me, that's my son. Now he's worth fighting for.
Lights down on Mary and Bill. We hear the sound of a shop doorbell ringing. Lights up on Jake's appliances. CP enters holding surveys.
Woo! Hot as hell out there, Jake. Your air conditioners should be selling themselves. I want you to fill out one of these surveys about our schools. You can write, can't you? Give our side of the story. Who told you that? Legman? Well, that man's so stupid he could throw himself on the ground and miss.
Lights up on Ann at the high school addressing students.
Settle down. I appreciate you children staying after school like this. I just read your surveys and there's some things I'd like to talk about.
Now, that was horse trading. They brought in their choir and we got our Klan exhibit. Of course I went to see him sing. I had to. I am the co-chair, for Christ's sake.
Lights up on Bill in his hotel room. He's arguing on the phone with his supervisor.
No, they had a Klan exhibit. Nobody got hurt, did they? The church choir didn't start a riot either.
Legman can call me any damn name he wants, but I haven't seen him at the charrette even once to say it to my face like a man. Haven't seen you there either. Fill him out or don't, Jake. Not for nothing, your opinion don't mean shit to me.
You think you can do better than me? Then you get yourself down here. You've got 8 days left to do it. There's only 2 things that can happen. We're either going to tear this town apart or do some real mending.
You say the white schools have better teachers, bigger sports programs, and they send more of theirs to college. Then you say there's no way you'd sit in the same classroom as white kids. And I got a lot of answers like this one, saying that what you really want is what they did to us. Burn their schools down.
Lights up on CP. He's walking down the street. He stops, spotting someone and waves.
Councilman Nash! Ferris!
He stops and CP watches as Councilman Nash crosses the street to avoid him.
Son of a bitch.
Lights down on CP, and in the darkness, we're in CP and Mary's kitchen. A tongue of light as a match is lit. Mary's smoking a cigarette. CP enters. He's had more than a few drinks.
Don't even say it. I've been drinking.
He turns on a light. Mary sits with a drink and a bottle and glass beside her.
So have I. You want one?
Okay. You gonna tell me what's going on here?
You look like you're the one upset.
I saw Ferris Nash today. Councilman Ferris coming down the boulevard. I called to him and he turns out on that big cheese grin of his till he saw it was me. Then he crossed the street. My good friend crossed the street because he didn't want to come be seen with me.
You don't understand that?
Hell no. That bastard's called me a dozen times to get us out to protests and demonstrations, to say what he won't, to do what he's afraid to.
That's why he's a politician.
He's a lying backstabber.
That's why he's a politician.
I'm taking hell for this town, and they're chewing my ass ragged. Well, no more. The hell with them and this damn charrette.
So you're quitting now?
What do you care? Really? You won't join the Klan, you don't go to the charrette? Damn it, Mary. What am I supposed to tell folks? You make me look like a fool. My own wife won't support me.
I'm still here, CP. That's supporting you.
It's not enough.
I went to the doctor today.
What is wrong with Larry now?
I didn't go for Larry. I went for me.
Why?
I've had some trouble breathing. So I went to see Dr. Miller last week.
What did he say?
He sent me to a specialist at the hospital. He wants a second opinion.
Second opinion about what, Mary?
I'm going to tell you, but I need you to be strong. Just listen and think before you say a word, because I don't know if you can deal with this. And if you can't, I need to know now.
Go on. Tell me.
Lights down on the kitchen. Lights up on the school auditorium. Anne walks in and sits, exhausted. CP enters moments later.
You're here early.
You got a problem with that? You're here early too.
I don't set the bus schedule.
We got to start this meeting on time tonight. Get home at a decent hour.
Tell me about it. I gotta go find planets. Oh, my daughter Lydia's gotta make a solar system.
How many kids you got?
2 girls. You?
2 sons. 1 daughter.
How many still talking to you?
What's that mean?
My girls get madder at me every day. Marilyn, she's a sophomore. Kids at her because her mother's working with a Klansman. Lydia's friends say she's got a big head just like me since my name's in the paper. They're mad because they're scared. And all they've got is me to be mad at.
Ain't that something?
That's something, all right.
My boy Tim, he's been getting in a lot of fights. Kids say, your daddy sold us down the river. Vicky, my gal, picked up the phone a few nights back. Somebody cussing me down. Foul talk, foul. She was so scared she couldn't sleep. Still can't.
You read the surveys?
Yeah.
Got a lot of hate in you.
That surprised you?
What surprised me was hearing how the teachers treat kids.
Here we go. The black kids, right?
The poor kids, black or white. Every time there's some problem or a fight, it's always the fault of the kid whose parents don't have 2 nickels to rub together. Lydia, she forgot her homework and the teacher called her a liar. Said she never did it. Same day, a boy in her class whose daddy's a big shot at the mutual forgets his, and the teacher doesn't bat an eye. Just told him to bring it tomorrow.
What? You mean the mutual insurance? I thought they were your people.
They might have been back when they started, but nowadays the only color they care about is green. They look down at the rest of us like we're not worth selling insurance to.
My son heard his science teacher tell the principal that the kids who get the bad grades are the poor white trash who can't do better. Tim didn't tell me that for 2 days. He was so ashamed. I sat him down. I told him money doesn't matter. But he knew I was lying.
I tell my girls they're just as good as anybody else. Anybody. Then they go to school and they see girls with new dresses and shoes and think, who does she think she's fooling?
My kids got more than I ever did. I'll tell you that. They should appreciate it. I grew up north of the tracks. You know, those houses? Hell, shacks. Some families shared an outhouse. I'd be lucky to have a lunch to bring to school. I'd wait for the rest of the kids to eat theirs and go play so they wouldn't see me eating my biscuit and lard. They'd say, how's your sandwich, lint-head? That's what they called us, lint-heads. All the kids whose daddies worked at the mill.
You got a violin? Because I can't play it.
I don't want your sympathy, Atwater.
Good.
I'm breaking my back for my kids. They've got food on the table, the backyard, and our own driveway. I open my station at 5 o'clock every morning, and they should appreciate it.
Now maybe you should appreciate having your own business.
Who says I don't? What do you do?
I worked for a lady down on Beacon.
Worked. She fire you.
I quit. I've been out looking for a new job every day since the last 3 weeks now.
What was wrong with your old job?
The job was fine. I worked there coming on 7 years. Did her wash, ironed, cleaned, cooked lunch, and I made dinner too. She didn't pay me for that, but sometimes she let me take home leftovers.
A white woman.
Of course, a white woman.
So why would you go and quit?
I was in the laundry room folding clothes. I heard her and her friends having tea in the kitchen talking about bussing. Not that they ever ride one. Her friend says, I just don't understand it. As long as they get a seat, what's so special about sitting up front? That set me off. I shut my mouth 10,000 times, but somehow this just set me off. I charged out there and started shouting in their faces about injustice and God and divine retribution. I told them they'd burn in hell and I'd light the match. Can't even remember if I quit or if I was fired. And it took me till I was halfway home to realize what I did to my children. No more money, food, no secondhand clothes. And you can call me crazy, but if I had quit a month ago before this charrette, I swear I would have found a new job in 2 days. But now, folks recognize me. That's her, the one stirring things up.
I tell you, people aren't coming into my station. Gas, repairs, I used to have more than I could handle. Now they drive by and they don't even turn their heads. Customers I had for years, friends. You know what folks tell my kids? Your daddy's a white nigger. That's right. People looking down on me like I'm no better than you. Sorry.
Sorry? You're sorry? Tell me, what exactly are you sorry for? For what you just said? For who you are? For what you've always been? Your sorry is just a word. A true sorry is not something you say. A true sorry is something you show.
Ann exits. We hear the sound of a school bell. Lights down on CP. Lights up on Ann. She's sitting, speaking with her pastor. In the background, we hear the sound of someone practicing a hymn on the church organ. Lights down. Lights up reveal Mary at Ann's front door. Mary is carrying a bag.
Mrs. Atwater, I'm Mary Ellis.
CP's wife?
That's right.
I'd have never believed it.
What?
How that man could end up with a woman pretty as you?
That's very kind.
No, that's the truth. What can I do for you?
Would you mind inviting me inside for a minute?
This neighborhood make you nervous? What have you got in there?
I thought you might like these.
Vegetables?
They're from our garden. Your daughter Lydia works at the phone company with my Vicky.
So?
She always tells Vicky how much she likes these fresh carrots.
We don't take charity here.
Mrs. Atwater, I don't know how things are for you, but for us, things are hard. CP just got a part-time job as a janitor down at Duke University.
Am I supposed to feel sorry about that?
Why would you? It's honest work. I'm just saying that when people can help each other out, that's not charity. It's sharing what you've got.
Does CP know you're here?
No, And I'd like to keep it that way if you don't mind.
Oh, I don't mind. Believe me, I'm done small talking with that man.
I can't tell you how many times I've thought the same thing. Oh, but at least I never have to guess what he's thinking. Some people just smile back at you and you never know. Those are the ones I don't trust.
They all the same to me. I just don't trust anybody.
Whatever you think of CP, I'll tell you this. He speaks his mind. You always know where he stands, even if you wish he was standing in another state. Well, I better go. The sun, I've got to get off my feet.
You like iced tea?
I do.
Then come on in. It's not like I have a reputation left anyhow.
Blackout. On screen, we see footage of reporters interviewing members of a town council.
Good morning, Durham. Don't know if you were there at last night's charrette, but I half the city was. Me, I'm staying in and locking my doors, because we've been invaded. Reporters, TV cameras, photographers. We've got more Yankees down here than when we were fighting the war. So, what's today's battle? I say it. C.P. Ellis and Ann Atwater meeting the town council and school board, and I bet you it's going to be a battle bloodier than Antietam. This is Charles Lang, WBDK, the voice of Durham.
Lights up to reveal Ann, CP, and Bill going over a thick report. CP seems out of sorts as he did days earlier at Ruth's Cafe.
You've got a lot here to present. Who's going to lead off?
I will.
CP?
Doesn't matter to me.
It's a closed session, so at least you won't have the press on you.
Is that it?
Well, I was hoping we could review your main points before the council and school board gets here. You're recommending the students should have a say in how the schools are run.
4 students on the board, 2 black, 2 white.
That schools should provide individual instruction to students who need it. And the same textbooks and curriculum should be used in every classroom.
With books that have black faces in them.
CP?
That's what the committee voted for.
Well, you've got a lot of bold ideas here, but I want to be clear about your last point. You say there should be procedures in place to deal with racial violence in the schools.
That's right.
What you're not saying is what that implies. You don't need procedures for violence if black and white students aren't in the same schools. You're endorsing integration.
We're endorsing the laws. It's time this city opens its eyes wide enough to see tomorrow.
You back all this?
I don't back a damn thing. I did my job, didn't I? I passed out the surveys, organized the meetings, and took down what everybody decided.
I'm asking if you agree with these findings.
I don't have to, do I? I've got to drive my wife to an appointment. I'll be here at 2.
See you then. We got over 1,000 people at the Duke Hotel tonight. It's supposed to be a celebration.
You have a problem with our report?
No, the problem is CP. He was like a bomb ticking. What's he thinking?
How should I know? I'm not getting inside that head.
Well, usually at the end of a charrette, the 2 chairs people usually make a closing speech. In this case, I'm not sure that would be a good idea. It would wipe out all the good work we've done in one moment.
So to keep his mouth shut, you want me to shut mine too?
You think I'm wrong?
I think that leaves you the only one making speeches.
I'll be short and sweet.
Do tell. Riddick, you're a rooster. Like my daddy used to say, you think the sun comes up just to hear you crow.
You know, sometimes I can't tell who you dislike more, CP or me.
Sometimes a horse race ends in a dead heat.
Are you married?
That's none of your business.
It's just that you call yourself Mrs. Atwater and I've never met your husband.
You'd have to find him first.
Then I guess it's safe to say you're not a fan of men in general.
Only the ones I met.
Then why'd you ever get married?
Because I was pregnant and because my daddy brought a shotgun to the wedding.
That would do it.
My daddy was a deacon in the church, and he told me to follow my husband. I had to Durham, like a wife should, especially when he promised to find a job here.
He did it?
He did, if you count selling whiskey out of his boarding house.
Must have been hard.
Don't you go pitying me. Don't you dare. A woman who can't take care of herself is as worthless as the man who makes her feel that way.
Rough House Annie.
That's back when. That's when I got the name. One night my husband told me I was being too friendly with the man who bought his liquor. Said not to talk to him. I said I'd talk to whoever I wanted. He slapped me across the face, knocked me back into the wood stove. But I grabbed the axe. I picked it up and swung, and he jumped back, fell through the back door, glass flying everywhere. Then I got the police.
They arrested him.
They would have, but he talked me out of pressing charges, said he'd never be able to get a job, support us, and I believed him. He took every penny I had, lit off to Richmond, and left me pregnant with my second daughter. I never met a man I could trust, Riddick, so don't feel special. You just want more of them.
I'm getting married in 3 weeks.
Really? I never met your bride.
You won't either. One talk with you and she'll be the one grabbing for the axe.
Lights down on Bill and Ann, and lights up in a hospital waiting room. CP is sitting. Mary emerges from the doctor's office.
Us once he reads the x-rays. You want a magazine or something?
These guys always keep you waiting. Like they're saying our time's not worth anything compared to theirs.
When you get home tonight, we've got to talk. We've got to decide what to do about Larry. He's getting too big to take care of, even if it was the both of us.
It will be. I don't want to hear otherwise.
It's not about you. It's about finding some place that can help him more than we can. And then there's Timmy and Vicky. We've got to think about them too.
There's nothing to think about. You'll take care of them the same you do now. And I'll keep them in line. You can count on that.
We can't count on anything. Things are going to change.
No.
No, you hate change, but things don't stay the same.
Some do.
Name one thing.
You.
You are so wrong.
You think so. But you're still with me, aren't you?
Maybe because if I don't have the strength to run.
There's that. Yeah, you ran after me fast enough when you first saw me playing baseball.
I liked baseball.
That's not all you liked.
What about you? Coming into Woolworths every time you had money for your ice cream sodas.
I liked my sodas. And the girl who made them, who is just as pretty now as she was back then. That's never changed either.
Stop. No, never mind. Keep it up.
You're going to get better. And if this doctor can't help you, we'll find another one who can, and we'll keep looking. I'm not giving up, Mary. I promise you that.
Promise me this. We're not going to be here in 50 years, neither of us. But our kids will be, and their kids. Put them first, CP. Always put them first.
She takes his arm. Lights down on the doctor's office and lights up on the city council chamber. Both Ann and CP are at podiums. CP has a stack of reports, and Bill sits by their side.
Mrs. Atwater, you've made a lot of very interesting points. All of us on the council and the school board want to thank you, and Mr. Ellis and your Charrette, and for all the work you've done. We're going to organize a committee to study your report and give it all due consideration.
Due consideration? What does that mean? There are things you can work on right now, like replacing the teachers in our Black schools teaching subjects they never trained for. English teachers teaching math, gym teachers teaching science. How are children going to learn by that? And another thing, you can talk to all the principals right now and find out why it is that when a Black student gets caught selling drugs, they call the police. But when it's a white kid, they call his parents. Mr. Ellis heard the same as I did. CP, do you have anything to say?
I'm sure he does. Mr. Ellis has always been an outstanding public servant. CP, why don't you explain to Mrs. Atwater on your way out how we're going to do all we can. We'll go into a private session now. Thank you very much.
I know you're going to do all you can because we put a lot of hours into this charrette. And because I'm giving copies of our report to all those reporters outside, and I know they'll read them real fast. And not as fast as you, of course, considering our past history together. Fraternal organizations and such. Boys, fellow public servants, it's your turn now. Ferris, see you around town.
CP picks up the reports and hands half his pile to Ann.
Here's yours. Let's do this thing.
Lights down on the council chambers. Lights up on the Duke Hotel. Sound of music being played and the celebratory crowd at the Charette's closing party. Lights up on CP, a drink in his hand. He's dressed in a tie for the first time. He's alone and feels it. Bill approaches, also with a drink.
Good turnout.
Yep.
Today's the first time I ever saw a room full of jaws hit the ground at once. Ooh, they're gonna move on this CP. You didn't give them no choice.
Maybe.
I hope you're proud of what you did here.
What's done is done.
It's not done. Not even close.
It is for me.
CP, some of the committee thought it would be a nice gesture if the co-chairs had a dance together.
I am not dancing with her.
That's fine.
No way.
Hey, I'll go tell them.
I'll drink a toast with her.
A toast. All right. And now, if I can get everyone's attention, can we turn the music off? Thank you. And will you join us to make a toast? Everybody else, get a drink in your hand if you've been too slow to grab one already. Ann Atwater, our co-chair.
Here's to our charrette. What we've done and what we've still got to do.
CP?
I hope it did some good.
Thank you. Congratulations to all of you who worked so hard.
I'm not done yet. I'm looking out at all of you. Most of you folks I haven't talked to my entire life, and a lot of you never talked to me. Maybe still won't. I'd be lying if I didn't say this whole thing wasn't hell. It was. Especially spending it with Ann Atwater. I always thought she was the meanest black woman God put on this earth. I knew I was better than her. Turns out that I didn't know is that she's somebody trying to help her people the same as I'm trying to help mine. People who don't have much. Lower class. I figured out this much. Folks don't stay upper class unless the rest of us are underneath them. And as long as we keep fighting each other, they know we're going to leave them alone to run things the way they always have, looking out for themselves and nobody else. And it's not right. It's not right. It's hard for me to believe I'm saying some of the things I'm saying. Something has happened to me. I've been a proud member of the Ku Klux Klan since I was 23 years old. This is my membership card. Exalted Cyclops of Durham, Claven, Unit 9. After this charrette, will our schools really get better? I don't know. What I do know is that most of us in this room aren't going to be around in 50 years. But our kids will be. And their kids. So for things to get better, some things have to change. We've got to put our children first. I know a lot of you here think I owe you some kind of apology for things I've done. I'll tell you this. A true sorry isn't something you just say. A true sorry is something you show. That's all I got.
I don't believe it. Did you see what that man just did? Oh, we need to get a picture.
No. Let him be.
The lights fade to black. Lights up on a church cross.
We ask you, Father, to welcome your servant, Mary Ellis, into heaven. We thank you that her suffering here on earth was short. And we pray for her and her soul, of all our dearly departed, and for the family Mary left behind. Amen.
Lights up on CP's kitchen. He's on the phone, wearing his t-shirt. 2 6-packs of beer lie empty, and a nearly finished bottle of whiskey sits on the table. He puts down the can opener, and he opens his last beer.
Eddie! CP. Yeah, I appreciate that. When we found out it was too late, it kept spreading no matter what. But she fought like hell, you know Mary, she fought hard. But listen, Denny, I've still got my keys to the Clavern. I thought maybe I could come over and drop them off. Well, sure, I can mail them. No, wait, I've been writing a letter. I want to explain to the boys why I did what I did. I thought maybe you could read it at a meeting so they'd understand. Sure, you go on and eat. Talk later.
CP dials the phone again.
Clayton, this is CP. How is the family?
CP gets up and paces the room. He stops before the living room wall, stands and stares at it. Suddenly, he punches through the plasterboard again and again. He goes back to his chair, drinks from the bottle, then picks up the can opener. He hikes one long sleeve up the back of his hand to the audience and draws can opener across his wrist. Puts his hand down and we see the cut and blood. Blackout. We hear the sound of an ambulance. Lights up on John Umstead Hospital. Anne stands before a nurse's station.
Nurse, I see you back there. Can you tell me what room CP Ellis is at? It's only 3:50. Visiting hours end at 4 o'clock. I am not coming back. I've got 10 minutes left to visit, and I'm seeing him now. You go on. You call security. Call the army, too, because it's going to take all of them to budge me.
Lights up on CP. He's seated, wearing a bathrobe with bandages on his wrist. Anne enters.
CP.
I didn't think anybody knew I was here. Things have been quiet, nobody's come. Sit down. Go on. You want some Jell-O? They keep bringing me Jell-O. I can't stand the stuff, especially when it's green or orange. blue once. Sometimes it's got little pieces of fruit trapped inside, makes it even worse. Who'd think of inventing something that nothing but water and dye and cow hooves? Useless. Absolutely useless.
I'm sorry to hear about your wife. I was in Charlotte. I didn't know till I got back.
Don't know how she put up with me. The way she kept us in line. Mary could have run the world from the kitchen as long as she had a cup of coffee and a cigarette. She was a good woman.
She was. Ma Marilyn worked with your daughter. Vicky, after school at the phone company. They got to talking. When I was out of work, Mary brought me vegetables from her garden. Brought me fatback too. Some nights that was all we had to eat.
She never told me that. She hated me being in the Klan. Said it was because I was away from home too much. But I knew it was more than that. Remember my gun?
How could I forget your gun?
She buried it in cement. Filled up the trunk of my car and buried it. Thought I was going to kill someone. I almost did once.
So did I. I sure wanted to. Somebody didn't stop me, I would have killed them for sure.
Who was that?
You. You remember the housing projects hearings maybe 2 years ago? We had broken windows, rats, no water. I had a bathtub that fell through my floor. Landlord wouldn't fix a thing. Even when we got a lawyer, he'd get extension after extension from the mayor. You were at the last hearing. When our lawyer told the council that animals lived better, you got up and said we were worse than animals. Niggas wouldn't know how to keep their homes decent anyways. You were standing in the road right in front of me with your nigga this and nigga that. So I got out the pocket knife I kept in my handbag and opened the blade. That next nigga I heard, I jumped up with my knife in my hand to cut your throat ear to ear. Grab your hair and cut so deep, I could watch you bleed out right in front of me. Pastor Walker saw that knife and pulled me down hard. Don't do it, he told me. Don't give them the satisfaction. I had as much hate in me as you did. Maybe more. I knew it, but I couldn't let it go. It was so strong that I thought if I let it go, there'd be nothing left of me. I'm asking if you can forgive me.
Yeah, I guess I can. You know what I keep thinking? I miss the Klan. It makes no sense, but you don't want to hear this.
Go on.
The night they swore me in was the greatest moment in my life. I got down on one knee before the altar. Everybody looking at me to take the oath before our leader. By the fiery cross, I dedicate you, Claiborne Paul Ellis, in the holy service of our country, our clan, our families, and each other. The whole room clapped for me. Hundreds of them. Nobody ever clapped for me before. I was part of something. I was somebody.
You still are.
Me? I'm a janitor now, you know that. Lucky to get the job when I lost the station. The funny thing, my old friends won't talk to me. Those new white folks I met at the charrette, well, I can't talk to them. I'm not educated like they are.
You know the terrible thing we did, CP? We changed. If people think that's a crime, then let them. They're wrong and we're right. Your life's not over. Just your old one. You got to get on with the new one.
I can't dance. That's why I said no.
What?
The last night of the charrette. That's why I wouldn't dance with you. I don't know how.
You don't know how to keep time clapping to the music either.
What?
You clap off the beat. You ever come to church with me some Sunday and I'll teach you how.
You watch out. Maybe someday I will.
Invitations open.
It's hard to tell who moves towards the other first, but Ann hugs CP, and CP embraces her with all his strength. Both are overwhelmed. They rock back and forth, almost dancing.
It's okay. It's okay.
We hear the sound of microphone static and a crowd in the background. Lights up on a banner that reads Local 465 International Union of Operating Engineers.
Well, thank you, Mr. Ross. We'll hear now from the next candidate for Chief Steward, Mr. C.P. Ellis.
CP steps into the light wearing his janitor's uniform.
I've been a member of this union almost 5 years now, but I guess most of you don't know me because of that. Some of you say I'm crazy to even think of running for steward when 90% of you are black. Maybe I am. Or maybe I'm just not used to being a minority. But I wasn't thinking like a white man when I decided I wanted to throw my hat in. I was thinking like a man who lost his house because he couldn't make payments. A man who people look right through when he's wearing a janitor's uniform like he's not there. A man who does honest work and deserves an honest shake on payday. That's the man I'd represent. So if you can look past my past, past the man who I was, I'll tell you who I'll be. Somebody who will fight for you. Somebody you can count on to keep their word. Somebody who would be proud to represent you.
C.P. Ellis, former Ku Klux Klan leader, died this week in North Carolina. Ellis was well known for co-chairing community efforts to desegregate Durham schools nearly 25 years ago. He was later elected chief steward of the local 465 Union of Operating Engineers and spent 18 years organizing union workers throughout North Carolina. Services will be held for him on Friday at Durham Christ Church.
We hear pre-service organ music. Lights up as Ann and Bill Riddick enter.
Bill Riddick. Haven't seen you since the charrette.
How are you, Ann?
I'm fine. How about yourself?
Good, good. 3 children and 7 grandchildren,
You still married?
even to the same woman.
How about that?
Look, it shouldn't have taken a funeral to get me back here. I should have been back to see both of you as long ago. The charrette led to a lot of good things for me. Jobs, speaking engagements. It raised my family, but I never kept in contact. I didn't know how strapped you and CP were.
We got back.
I'm sorry. I've been blessed and I didn't share it. I used to think I was some kind of genius getting you both to be the charrette's co-chairs. When I look back on that night CP tore up his KKK card, I still can't believe it. Out of my children being born, it was the most important night of my life.
It was a miracle.
I thought it was me. I don't think that anymore.
You're not so cocky now either. That's another miracle.
Funny when you get older, you look around you and you see what's changed and what hasn't. Sure, laws have changed. There's more opportunity, and now people don't say what they're really feeling to your face. But still, I met Mary Alice once. She thought people couldn't change, not down deep where it matters. There are lines that never go away, she said. Maybe she was right. I want to have hope, but it's getting harder.
Service is starting. Don't you go anywhere. I'm proud that CP's family invited me to speak today at his funeral. We knew each other a long time now. CP helped me when my roof was about to fall in. I helped him get his son Larry into a place he gets good care. We helped each other when one of us needed anything, whether it was money or meal or just company. CP lost a lot of his old friends, most of them. He could have left town, but he stayed. He said this was his home and that was that. You know, when CP was the head of the local 465, he organized their first paid holiday on Martin Luther King Day. A lot of white men went after him for that, but CP told him, okay, fool, you don't like it? Then go on in to work that day. We got a good laugh out of that. I believe God had a plan for both of us, for CP and for me, to learn to work together. Well, we did. CP Ellis was my friend. He was a good man and I trusted him. Way back when we worked on the charrette here, the man who brought us all together, Bill Riddick, told us he wasn't hoping for a mile of change, just an inch. I thought of that yesterday when I went to the funeral parlor. I was looking for a place to sit when this white man looked up and says, "This wake's for Claiborne Ellis." I told him I knew. He says, "I'm sorry, but it's for family members only." I said, "I know that too." He said to me, "Well, are you a family member?" I said, "Yes, I am. CP is my brother." He stared at me, I stared at him. Then he slid over on the bench so I could sit. Not much, just a few inches, but it was enough.